Hi everyone, I'm psychic medium Jojo Empathic from jojoempathic.com. I'm a medical intuitive, and in today's video, I want to talk about a concept known as empathic mirroring. Okay, so if you're an empath and you've come across this video, it may be very helpful for you if you're struggling. I know through my walk and my journey, empathic mirroring is something that I have struggled with and that I have to continually work on to this day. So let's break this down. Is it a blessing or is it a curse? I'll say it's your choice to make it one or the other, and it can be both. And so, if you're an empath and you've struggled with empathic mirroring, drop a comment, let me know your experiences or other empathic problems that you may have so I can make videos on those. But let's just go ahead and break this down. So, the first time I ever heard of this concept of mirroring, which I believe is psychologically studied, it was when I was a salesman. So, in the sales world and negotiation world, drop a comment if you know what I'm talking about. Mirroring is a sales technique that can help you to really connect with your client before a sale. There is a lot of study on mirroring and how when you make a connection through mirroring your client that you're about to sell, you can help them to feel you feel relatable, and you help them to feel comfortable enough with you to buy from you. So, me as a salesman, I had always known about and did a lot of training through mirroring. Mirror your client. If they're, really peppy, be peppy. They'll feel more comfortable. They'll feel they can relate to you and they will buy from you it more easily. So, it's a very true technique that salesmen use to make sales and profit. And it's how we're wired psychologically. We tend to gravitate towards those that we can relate to, those that are like us. We feel more comfortable with people that like the same things, think the same way as we do. That is our nature, and I think that it does have a lot to do with our programming in order to keep us in control. But if you can have awareness of it, you can use mirroring in the sales field to really help your sales rapport with your client and help your client to feel enough, ease with you and relaxation to move forward and trust you. So let's switch gears here now to what is empathic mirroring. It's very similar, but I would say it's not as intentional. And a lot of times it's completely unintentional. And until you watch a video like this, it's an unconscious reaction that may be the root cause of a lot of your suffering that you're going through, dear empath. Like anxiety, like depression, like feeling other people's illness in your body and not knowing how to process this or what to do with it. So is it a curse? You're not intentionally trying to mirror people, but you just do. You're not intentionally trying to feel someone else's headache, but you just do. So what is the solution to this? You get it under control. You have awareness that you're doing it, and you manage your abilities. You get more grounded. So empaths, we tend to mirror. If you don't know what an empath is, it's a very high level of intuitive intelligence. If you're an empath, from what I've studied, if you're an empath, you're at the highest level of intuitive intelligence, and you're automatically very mediumistic, and you're automatically very psychic. So if we were to look, and this is based off of a class I took called Empathic Awareness, which is based on research and brought into universities. This class I took here. So if you're an empath here, you're at one of the highest levels of intuitive intelligence. And of course, there's levels to it. There's levels to that intelligence and what it can do. It's the most powerful manipulating energy. So if you're born an empath or you reach empathic ability in your lifetime, you're automatically here to live a life of service, more specifically, help with the healing of humanity, animals, the planet. So this is the highest level of intelligence that can manipulate energy. Then we get mediumistic energy, and then psychic ability is the lowest level of intuitive intelligence. Okay? So if you're a medium, you're automatically psychic. And if you're an empath, you're automatically both of those. Okay? So I don't walk around here like I'm God's great gift to the planet. And people, a lot, no. We are all, to an extent, we have some form of intelligence, intuitive intelligence. We all do. This is a basic intuitive intelligence that is for survival. So it's like tied to your gut and your brain. If you have a brain and you have a gut, you more likely have psychic ability. If you've been through a lot of trauma, you may have more of a heightened psychic ability because you just have adapted for survival, as this is what it's for, to be able to sense with accuracy, being able to pick up subtle energies that other people may just want to ignore or act like it's not there. And that's your psychic ability. And so I always give the depiction when I'm working with clients. If you're driving on the road and your gut saying, don't get over, you just feel, you just know. I'm not going to go over to that lane because there's a car coming, but you didn't even see it in the mirrors or your sensors didn't go on. That's your psychic ability, predicting the future, keeping you safe. Children develop this in a heightened level when there's a lot of arguing around them. Their gut will say, don't go around mom and dad. They're going to go fight. Don't go over to grandma's house. There's going to be a lot of chaos. Don't play on the playground after 7 because there's always a man there. And that feeling of eeriness, that feeling, you've got all of these nerves in your gut, and it's like you have a sensory system there that's predicting in your field and the field outside of you. Field. If you're trying to heighten your intelligence, you're trying to reach up to this level of being able to manipulate. We usually think of the word manipulate as negative, but it's so positive. And I'll give you an example. Logically, if you were to take medication, is that not manipulating energy? It is. And it can be very healing and powerful, and you may at times, you should take medication. You may need it. So it can be the right thing to do. So if you're on this channel, like, subscribe, but also if you're here, you're a leader and you think from a higher perspective, not just you see this word manipulation and you say, oh, it's negative. No, think higher. It can be both. So psychic ability is what we all have, and of course there's levels here too of what the psychic can do. The psychic can manipulate energy in terms of psychic surgery is a good example. Removing of a mass in someone's body, removing of a disease from the third eye, from the guts mind, from your heart. Okay, that's a psychic ability. This psychic ability can also predict things in the future, can see things in advance. That can be both positive and negative too. There's a lot of, I use psychic ability to read people. I more so use mediumistic ability to read people because when I intentionally connect with light beings, it's more of the truth versus just what is or what could be, which is what the psychic ability does. So I had someone here the other day, client telling me that when they saw another psychic, they, were just saying that this guy's going to be it. He's the one. He wasn't. Why? Because they were just psychically reading who's next. They weren't really listening to the light. So that can come from you and that can come from others. So we come up here, and so again, psychic abilities are vast. There's a lot of different levels and different abilities you can do psychically. Remote viewing is also psychic. So then you get into mediumistic abilities, and this is where you're able to tune into the subtle field a bit more in terms of the communication of spirit. And that's, if you're watching this, you're probably like, isn't everybody able to do that? You should be, to an extent. It goes beyond just a feeling. It's like a knowing and a connection of the language of the universe, which is always speaking to you. So you're aware of the numbers, numerology, which is an ancient language, ancient mediumistic language, mediumship language. Spirit speaks through numbers. Or you're aware of the color patterns or the color frequencies that just keep appearing in your life, or you're seeing colors. Okay, so this is part of the language as well that spirit speaks to us. Mediumistic ability, a lot of times, also is the clairaudience where you're hearing spirits and it can sound like your own voice. It can sound like another voice. You can hear it outside of you or you can hear it within you. Okay, and I think that this is a major truth that a lot of people struggle with when it comes to the mental health field. Now, I'm not a doctor, I can't prescribe or diagnose, and I'm not claiming to. This is an observation here. So, mediumistic ability is a higher level of intuitive intelligence. Now, this can go dark, and so can that. All can. All of these levels can. But for mediums that I would say are usually anointed to do this work, or light workers, are usually very high vibrational people, beings that are able to reach, like a mirror, higher frequencies in the universe. So they're able to connect with light. They're able to connect with angels of light, higher frequency beings of light. That's what I would say a medium is, a light worker. They're able to commune with that. Now, a lot of people are stuck in a lower frequency and they're just psychically tapped into tragedy that's about to happen. That could happen, but doesn't even happen. They're so low vibrational that all they hear from the spirit realm is the spiritual dark entities and, you know, lower earthbound souls that are needing help. That's all they hear from, because their vibration isn't high enough, like a mirror, to be able to communicate with a match. It's called mediumship match, with certain spirits that are high vibrational. And that will take you out. It's very serious, mentally, and then physically from there. A lot of really hard, horrible things can happen. And that's why it's important that you understand the discernment of energy and who you are. Okay? Then we get into empathic ability, and that's the highest level. And this is where we're at here. Okay? So this is usually a lot of empaths are old souls, and they've been around the block a few times, and now we're in this awakening here, and you're waking up, and you know we all are waking up here, and it's our awareness is needed, our ability to manipulate energy is needed. So empaths are able to deeply feel emotions, thoughts, and energy as if it's their own. Okay? That is what an empath is. They're highly sensitive individuals to the atmosphere, to the environment, and to other people. Okay? So empaths, when I want to backtrack a bit. One of the most important aspects of being a human is that we can emote. Okay? So if you've ever met an empath that, let's say, they were emotionally ungrounded or unstable, or had just emotional outbursts, they were probably reaching higher levels of empathic ability and not having awareness of it, or they weren't grounded, or they didn't manage it well. Like I said, they're dark empaths. When you don't know who you are, when you don't have awareness, you're not doing anything about your healing abilities, you are dark. You go dark a lot of the time. So some beings in the universe don't feel emotion. Human souls, we do. We feel emotion as humans, and that's our superpower. And that's why there's this whole earth, plane, that there's this huge battle. And that's why the human is so freaking sacred, is because when we emote, we can connect with people on a different level. Most importantly, emoting can lead us to love. It can lead us to, when we're able to feel emotion, we're deeply moved. We manipulate, we move energy through emotion. I feel so compelled to go in that direction. I feel so passionate to follow this calling. And you do, and you create magic. You move energy, manipulate energy for the higher good. So I want you to understand, if you're an emotional being, that's a good thing, but being out of control emotionally is not. You can be very dark with that, and you're crying all the time and you're draining people's energy with your tears, we need to understand how to manage our empathic ability and ground it so that it's not overpowering us. So see it as a good thing, but everything has a duality. It can go very dark too if you're emoting too much. But basically, when you have empathic ability, one of the abilities that happens is that we tend to mirror. So empathic mirroring is basically like you're a mirror to who you're speaking to. You're reflecting someone else's emotions, their thoughts. This can even be experiences like that you empathically, through empathy, are saying, I get you, I understand you, and I feel deeply for you. Okay? So this helps you to be a really good listener. It helps you to be reflective, it helps you to give validation, and it helps you to resonate with other people, which can be a superpower. Where this goes dark and what this video is about when it comes to empathic mirroring, in my perspective, is it can be a very, very dark and troubling ability tied to empaths, that empaths struggle with. And that's what I want to share with you so that we can get a little bit of understanding and get a little bit of control of our empathic mirror. And again, like this video, drop comments. I want to hear from you. Empathic mirror. So let me break this down a little bit further. Let's dive into the empathic mirror talk, okay? Why does that happen? So for someone like me, when I find myself mirroring somebody, I'm super engaged. I'm like almost one with the person. Higher perspective, aren't we all one? Aren't we all interconnected as one? Aren't we all from one source? So when you're at this level of intelligence, you can express as a superpower a oneness with all that is, which is so beautiful. This is why some people may say that I have a gift to be able to relate to a lot of people. Yes, I'm an old soul. I'm actually very young in this life, but I've been through a lot to where I'm relatable, but I'm also able to empathically mirror people. So in conversation, we could feel very one. I could feel very plugged in with people. I can have these very intimate conversations and connections with people where it's like, this girl rocks. Like, this girl is like, she gets me. She hears me. Like, I feel heard. I feel received. She gets it. That's empathic mirroring because I'm able to relate. I'm able to say, I hear you and I feel and I understand deeply what you're going through a oneness between us. Okay? So I think that fundamentally that's why it happens, is because we are all one. And so I like to have my board here because let's say you're an empath in your field, your quantum field, okay? And then you're talking to someone else, and they're in their field, okay? This is where it can go dark, and this is happening to a lot of people. Think about how loosely the word empath gets thrown around these days, but people have no idea really what that means in the depth of that. You're calling yourself an empath, well, let's backtrack, go back. Then you're automatically a medium. You're automatically psychic. And then, oh, I don't think that, I don't want that. You are, okay? This is steady stuff. So with an empath, where it goes dark, and this also happens again to a lot of people when we talk, where does the connection first start? I'm going to do a 5-second pause, drop a comment real quick. Where does the first connection between you and someone else start? Be curious to see if we get any. Thought. The mind is where the first connection starts. Okay, so when somebody is about to call you, they're not in the physical space with you. They're not there. You don't see them, but the field is picking it up. That person's about to call. They're thinking of me and I'm tuned in. So it's like we start to do this merging of energy through thought, especially if you're empathic. Okay? Then we're actually in person with someone and we're talking and we're communicating and the vibration of ourselves is really expanding, and so is this expansion here. So there's this oneness that takes place with empaths when they're speaking with people, when they're interacting with people, when they're thinking of people, or other people are thinking of them. More so, people thinking of them that are projecting to them without the reality or consciousness that they're doing that. That can take someone out. It can be too much. So the empath gets very, very warm with people. And again, that can be positive. So let's talk about how that can be positive. Well, let's say you're a medical intuitive and you're reading someone and you feel in your body something going on over here, and you say, is there something over here in the left abdomen? And they say, I felt something for a while. Well, you as the medical intuitive say, well, why don't you go get that checked out? But it's a tumor. You might even psychically see it, but you feel it in your own body as pain. There's been, you can actually give a healing message and help that person. They go get help and they can, help themselves and clear that. Thanks to you, bringing your awareness to it. You feel it in your body. You can, if you're a medical intuitive, you might walk by someone, oh my God, why do I have a headache? Well, you're picking up someone else's headache. So if you know how to investigate that psychically and mediumistically, you can connect with angels or higher frequency beings, you can get a healing message to give to someone to help with that and find the root of why that's happening. So empathic mirroring is necessary for our existence. It brings us together, it helps us with oneness, it helps us with connection, and it helps us to validate how we're feeling within ourselves through the mirror of someone else. Again, this is a high level of intelligence. It's a oneness. It's very godly. People will demonize it. I get that because it can go dark. So I'm going to go into the other end of what that means, and so you can help yourself. This is where I've struggled in life. When I meet people, and then there's an emotional connection. So then your heart's open. So think frequencies, think vibration of yourself getting in the mix with someone else. So I want to go this route, and I'm going to make this a short video. I'm going to wrap it up. The biggest downfall I see with empathic mirroring is within mental health. Let's say you're an empath. You don't know really what empathic ability means. You know you're an empath because you read it online, people talk about it, and they throw it around loosely. We know now it's an intelligence that needs to be trained, tuned, grounded, and protected. You need to be responsible with it. So let's say you're an empath and you don't know this, and you go and connect with a family member. Now, your family member, this is you, this is your family member, okay? So let's say your family member has a heart condition. And let's also say your family member has a spirit attachment. Let's say because of the heart condition, because of the spirit attachment, this person cannot sleep. They have mental health issues. And you're a mirror. Church isn't saying anything about this. School's not saying anything about this. Doctor surely isn't. And you go say hello. So you go say hello, and how does energy transfer? Energy transfers in very subtle ways, including the voice. So this person speaks to you, speaks to your field. You might start to feel what's going on here. You might start to feel what's going on here. You might start to feel what's going on here. So a lot of the times when we hear something else that's very popular is we say empaths get drained really frequently. This is what I'm trying to explain why. Is because you're a mirror to other people. And you have to get control of that or that will take you out. The person that doesn't know here, then out of sight, out of mind, they're talking for 15, 20 minutes. So-and-so starts crying. This person's the empathic, oh, let me help you. Let me be there for you. Usually, if the empath doesn't know who they are or have studied or done any training or anything, they enable. Because we think that's love. The angels don't enable. That's a humanly way of what we call love. But teachers never take the test for you. So we enable, we say, oh, no, just give them another chance or, what have you, whatever advice the empath gives. This person, over time, so we have the factor of time, started picking up more in their field from that interaction. Oh, my head hurts. Oh, what's going on down here? It's a little bit in the field. Okay. It's the irresponsible empath. That's now about to go dark. This person has the purest heart. Usually you have to have a pure heart to be able to be really one with so many people. Okay? So then they go back home and they're irritated. This person has irritation. This person starts to feel back pain. This person starts to develop migraines. This person now can't sleep. That's an empathic mirror and how deep it goes. This is the reality. Like from a medical intuitive perspective, and having taken empathic understanding, this is what's happening. So just as you would take a shower every night, or day, or you practice good hygiene in some way, you need to energetically cleanse your aura, your energy. You need to protect your energy daily. Anytime you leave your home, you're in a new environment or atmosphere. Energy is sticky. Think of a kaleidoscope. How everything is always moving in these patterns, this field, this matrix, these numbers, these lines, these curves, these symbols, these colors are always merging in a kaleidoscope, right? And so are you. You're the kaleidoscope and so is the desk. So is the person. So is the dog. And everything is blended with someone that's irresponsible with their energy. They don't have awareness that this is happening. Everything merges. And you take home with you what you've merged unless you're aware of it and you're consciously not doing that. So what can happen to that person with time? A lot of really bad things. For example, bad. Let me take that word out. Negative. Lower. For example, they get such bad migraines now. They can't figure out what the heck's going on. Nothing's really different in their diet. There's no new, aerosols in the house. There's no new products and chemicals. Like, same thing, but that one conversation did it. I want to backtrack again. I use this often. In the Bible, it says that we're the salt of the earth. We as humans that can emote, that can be an empath. When you're really an empath, when you're really high up in intuitive intelligence, you are the salt of the earth. What does salt do? It pulls. It absorbs negative energy. It's a clearer. It's a healer. So after that conversation, if we were to backtrack again, that person could have been feeling a lot better. And all of their negative toxicity may have been pulled from this empath, and now they're holding it and carrying it. Drop a comment if this is making sense and really putting light bulbs on for you. Okay, so you're the salt. The empath is the salt of the earth. Okay, back to this. So they start having all these migraines and back pain, and they don't know of anything, and they get these x-rays, and nobody can figure out what's going on. Everything's good in the scans, doctors don't know what's going on. You feel like absolute utter shit. That could be why. Because you're a mirror and you're salt, and you are not being in your full capacity of awareness or consciousness to the energetic environment. We're trained to almost ignore, dismiss, or pacify the truth or what is or what we cannot see logically. We act like it doesn't exist, mainly because those logical, egotistical ones that refuse to see or dismiss or don't allow themselves to see have made it a system so that if you start to question what they can't see, you have a diagnosis, you have a title, you're ostracized, shamed, your voice is stolen from you for speaking up because they can't see it. They don't allow themselves to see it. Because to see and to be here, you not only have to have your pineal gland open, your third eye, but your heart too, to really be able to be a transformer of high, into high vibrational energy and love and healing. So this person starts to go on medication that has side effects. Then there's a real physical problem. So far, it's just energy. It's just the senses. Like, I also like to think of the empath as a magnet. You go to the grocery store. Everybody's coming up to you and telling you their whole life story. People are just randomly telling you about things. They're just drawn to you. You're a magnet of salt. You're the clearer. You're the healer. That's why you are this way. You're supposed to be doing something with this. So then there's a real problem, and then this carries out, so on and so forth, right? You can see how devastating this could be if you have no real spiritual connection to the truth. And we have the church saying, don't see, ignore it. There is a science behind it that a very small percent know, period. Okay? So, here you are as the empath, and what are you supposed to do to protect yourself? You have to be very, very mindful. I'm going to give you some tips now on how to be proactive. Number one, you have to understand, I mentioned the heart, brain, and gut connection. All of those systems need to be connected, grounded, and shielded with this empathic shield around you. So when you wake up, you need to connect with your spirit and your body. This is my symbol for body, mind, and spirit. So triangle. So when we wake up from the dream realm, which is very real, and if you're not dreaming, that's a problem. You are dreaming, but you probably don't remember because you're blocked. You've blocked yourself. A lot of times when I talk about dreams, people automatically say, yeah, I dream, but it's not bad. I dream, but it's not dark. We have this connotation through the left brainers that rule this world that say dreams are dark and haunting and da-da-da. Dreams are how you speak to you. So if you don't remember your dream, you're probably not very connected to your spirit, your soul, your body, because it's where you can receive messages from you. It's where you can receive insight, guidance, speak with loved ones on the other side more easily. You can see more of the higher truth and perspective to help yourself. You can answer problems through dreams. You can manifest through dreams. Super sacred in a positive way. Okay, so when you come back to this realm, remember the body has a silver tube to your soul. Okay, so your soul, remember, has a body. Your body doesn't have a soul. So when you wake up from the dream world, come back in. Okay? Grounding takes levels. It takes years of practice. We throw that word around loosely too. So when we get grounded, We bring our soul back with the oneness of us. You're the flame. Your soul, your consciousness fills all of you, fuels you. So once you're in your body all the way, after dreaming, you ground yourself in your body so that you're one back in this connection. You're back in the one connection. Now you have more focus, more concentration. You're more in your power, you could say. Okay, when you're grounded. That's the first step to helping yourself as an empath. Now, the next thing when you wake up and the next thing you're going to do, besides for getting grounded, blue, indigo, the color of wisdom and truth, you're coming present. We don't want to be like off in la la land, fourth, fifth, other dimensions, when we're supposed to be here having this human experience. Okay, so bring it to earth. Get in your earth body. Your body's made of what the earth is. Get there. You can begin to shield yourself with an empathic shield. You can bring colors around you intentionally. The visualization. This takes less than like a minute to visualize, to feel. And it becomes stronger with your intelligence that you do it. You seal yourself in this protective cocoon, this aura of light, this, bubble of love, this shield of truth and protection, whatever, airy-fairy, woo-woo that you want to do for your empathic shield. It works. It works wonders. So this basically just energetic boundaries that you intend, and it works. That's how the law of the universe works. That's how the matrix works. That's how God works, intentionally. So that's what you do. Number 1 in step 2. So now, when you go around other earthlings, okay, most, say 85% to 95%, they're not aware of energy thanks to the church. They ignore it. I can't tell you, and I talk about this countless times, of how many people come to me for clearing, and what happens. The pastor, the deliverance person says, ignore. No. So they're ignoring the truth. And they got all types of attachments and possessions, and so you intend that no darkness can come in here, like that you won't interact with the lower vibrations of the universe. So when they're interacting, they're in your field, they're walking through your field, you're safe. That helps. Now that shield does wear off if you're in like crowded places, or you're in places where it's just totally logical, is dark. You might need to do more colors around you. You may need to get creative. Pick up my book, Spiritual Awakening with Ancient Intelligence. This is so good. At the end, I go over page 50. A whole thing of different, I give you a whole different page of other shielding techniques. You could do, I have on here color shields, jewelry amulets, crystals, architectural shields, and I also give you a technique that God showed me to share. I call it the EEM technique, the Electric Eggshell Merkaba technique. Okay, so you're using not only your energetic electric shield, but you're also calling in and tapping into your Merkaba to help you shield. Energy shielding is powerful. Now, a lot of times we walk around with really scared intentional shields that block other things too. That's something you want to be intentional. When you shield yourself, you're just I'm just shielding the negative lower energies. I'm keeping a boundary between me and someone else's illness, between me and someone else's attachments. I will not take it on as my own, but I do welcome prosperity. I do welcome into my field higher vibrational energy. I do welcome the things that I want. I like to use the pink shield, like the mother, like the feminine shield can still magnetize to you what you need and keep out what you don't. Okay? So that's step 1 and step 2. You must do that maybe a few times a day, especially when you start to feel like it's wearing off or you go to a store. Now let's say we do go to the store in Reiki, we do something called dry brushing, where you go like this, 1, 2, 3, and you can flick the energy, and it doesn't matter if you look crazy, you're just kind of cleansing your auric field because it will help. And going around this person, they had a headache. It's not mine. All of a sudden it goes away. You just get it out of your field. Release it from you. Cleansing is the 3rd step. So when you're interacting here, you have your shield, you're not going to take on his energy anymore. But let's say you start to pick up a little something in your field, you have to cleanse that out, dear one. You have to always cleanse. So again, my book goes over how to energetically cleanse, but that's the 3rd step to protecting yourself if you are an empathic mirror, is that at the end of the day or when you come home, you need to do some sort of ritual, some sort of prayer, some sort of cleansing technique to cleanse your energetic field. So it's not so far-fetched when we make the comparison to taking a shower, right? You would take a shower and you wouldn't argue it. You go play in the mud, you get all dirty, you go 4-wheeling through the forest. Something I used to love to do growing up. I would come back with my boots all muddy, pants all ripped up, mud here, sticks in my hair. What am I going to do? I'm going to just go to bed like that? My mother would have had a fit. My grandmother would have never let that happen. As a kid, I may have, I was always, as a teenager, I was pretty clean. But, that's a really good metaphor. Like, if you're going to go play in the mud, you would go take a shower, right? If you're going to go walk into, like, Walmart, or you're going to go walk into somewhere where there's, like, a hospital, or there's accumulation of pain and suffering in the air, why would you not energetically cleanse that gunk off your field? Especially if you're an empath and you're a magnet. High vibrational people attract darkness. We think there's something wrong with us. You are the light that even darkness will seek. Church says, turn off your light. No. Don't wake up because it can be dark. No. You keep shining your light. You don't dim it for anyone, but you learn how to manage yourself and you have awareness. So you're not living in fear and confusion of what is. I'm here to tell you, you can learn discernment of energy. There is a system. God is law. It is readable. This is what this awakening is all about at this time, is we really are reclaiming this power of truth and understanding of energy so that we can better help ourselves and heal ourselves. So if you're an empathic mirror, the number one thing for you to do is have awareness of when you're doing it and stop. Intentionally set the boundaries with who you're speaking to, with who you're texting, with which environments you're going in. Let's say you're in a textual relationship with someone that's very draining. You have to make a decision if you want to keep that relationship. Because if your heart's on the line, you're going to start to form energetic cords that penetrate your shield. So I'll make a video number 2, because this was 15 minutes over the one I wanted to. I'm wondering if I should just finish it now. Might as well. I'll end it with this. And if there's more that I feel compelled to speak on, I will share. But this is where it gets really deep, is when you are not just, let's say you're a traveling nurse and you're going from home to home to home. That is, you're running the risk of picking up energy from someone else. You're running the risk of mirroring. You need to cleanse. You need to shield and stay grounded. But let's say you're involved with people intimately. You love them. You love them. You love them. You care for them. Your heart's open to them. You're vulnerable to them. There's a oneness with the people you love, your kin, your family, your intimate love partners. And they got a lot going on. What happens is it goes deeper than just picking up energy from the environment. You begin to form energetic cords to people, to places, to things. Okay? We're coming to a day where, for me, in my personal life, I don't keep people near me that aren't aware of this. Because I don't, since I've awakened, I don't really keep people that want to hurt me around me. That's not me. The people that I've always had, dear friends, have always been loving and care about me, would take the shirt off their back to give to me, food off their plate to feed me. Me and all my girlfriends have always been like this. I'm in the fridge, in the closet, one. But if you don't have awareness, the law still exists. So this is where family members begin to take each other out. This is where there's an illness with one family member, then the next, then the next, then the next, energetically and spiritually. And this is my perspective. Energy cords with people we love. The transference of energy through these cords that are invisible to the naked eye, but you can see with a heightened perspective, heightened clairvoyance, heightened intelligence, heightened sense. This is where illness trumps. And so in my personal life now, I only keep people that are woke. A lot of people say they're woke, but they can't have someone in front of them and read them. That's woke. If you can go into an atmosphere and read the atmosphere, you're woke. Okay? So let's be real. People say, oh, I'm woke and I went to all this school. I never learned this in school. I had to pay pretty pricey money to go learn with this stuff. And on my own, it wasn't traditional. It doesn't mean you're woke because you have a degree. It doesn't mean you're woke because you aren't into the systems at play. No. Woke, awakened, is those that have conscious control of their third eye and heart. Truly woke. You can wake this up and see and just predict and know, and you can use that for not good. But I think the true woken one, the true one, is one that also awakens their heart. The heart-brain connection is a really woke person. So that's what I keep near me in my personal space, because why? These cords don't form as often. And if they do, they're pure. This person has a shield around them. They're not sending me their thoughts. They're aware that thoughts project. Most people aren't. And they're thinking privately, not aware about remote viewers. They're not aware that thoughts are energy that can be read from afar. It's another video. So when you're an empath, I did all that, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 5. When you're awakened, you say no more with the nonsense. No more with the energetic immaturity. The people you keep near you have shields around them. They stay cleansed. They're able to remove disease from their body. They're able to be in a present state. They're able to feel joy presently. Not saying they're perfect, but they're able to be alchemists. Those are the people that have I'll do it this color. Let's say this color is representing purity and abundance. Then you have a cord here to this person, and it's like they're not sending you their thoughts because they're aware. They're not sending their illness to you. They're responsible and staying in their lane. They're not enabling you. They're not coming to you for some, help me, or they're responsible energetically. Those are the people. Once you reach a certain level of empathic ability, you want to keep near you. Anyone else, they can love the shiznips out of you. They'll love you to death. They mean the best for you. But God is law. and there is an energetic reaction equation mathematics that is happening all the time that we can't ignore, and that's what God is. So I will say this again, a lot of the people around you aren't intentionally trying to hurt you. But when in spirituality, ignorance is not bliss. It's dark, and it does harm through ignoring, pacifying, and acting as if it's not there. When there is indeed an energetic transference, which we are now in this day able to really start getting on scans to see. Drop a comment if this was helpful. I want to hear from you. Like, subscribe, and share this video. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you would like to book a private reading with me, you can book at jojoempathic.com. I've got links in the bio. I'll put one in the description box. And most importantly, if you would like to learn how to communicate with your own field, your own guides, learn how to read energy, learn how to read contracts and all of that, work with me through a 6-month spiritual development journey that I offer called Journey with JoJo. You can find that right at jojoempathic.com. I'd love to work with you, and thanks so much.